Da-da, da-da, da-da. Gibbity bee bop doo. How are you? What is everybody up to? Oh? Hello? What's going on? Let's see who's here. Sapphire, hello. Escalde, hell yeah. Keshi, hello. Grabbing that first, hell yeah. Emma, hello. Aki, hello. Panchin, happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. I hope you get to do something for you today. Because that's what Valentine's Day is all about. Dutch Bros was giving out friendship bracelets, and I was first in line because they go fast when they get cute stuff like that. Damn. They're gone. Been gone. Youth, hello. Kel, hello. Little, hello. Phantom, hello. How are you doing? Been a minute. Been a minute indeed. Been a minute indeed. Has me feeling under the weather. Spent the day with my cousin and niece and took her chocolates. Hell yeah. Show them who's boss. You are. You're boss. Today we're doing a CAL, guys. I hope you're excited. The CC just said CAL, but it's a crochet along. It is not a cow. It is a CAL. Still doesn't get it. It's okay. One day. But how is everybody doing? We're making love discs today. I had some to show. But I gave one to Alex this morning for Valentine's Day. And now I can't find the other one. He took the one that I gave him with him to work. So we're just gonna have to make a new one. If you want to see what I made, they're on Instagram. I didn't do anything for you. Didn't do it for that reason. Damn. Who's doing it? Who's gonna be calling with me today? I'm cross-stitching, but we'll be doing some of these once I finish them. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell, are you calling? Do we need to crochet or can we cross-stitch? You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. If you're not crocheting, you have to leave. Why would I do that? I don't know why I would do that. I enjoy your company whether you're crocheting or not. Well, by then. Tear falling down my face. Whoa, Nick. Sir Nick. You're destroying everything. When I saw the link, thought the site was familiar, saw the pic, and released it as the pattern using to make it. Yeah! It's a very popular pattern because it's a really good heart pattern. I'm just, taking it and ad-libbing some different details to make it a Luvdisc, which we all know is a Pokemon that I love dearly. We have Luvdisc emote. Let me pull Instagram up so that I can show y'all. Hello, Nick. He's laying on everything. So here's what we'll be making today. We're gonna be just making some love discs. Like I said, it's just a heart pattern. The last 4 rows, we're gonna do a color change to make the lips. And we're going to add some eyes in between the 10th and 11th row on each side. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I think I did both of these in two and a half hours last night. So if you, for some reason, forgot to make or get a Valentine for a special someone, be it your significant other, family member, or yourself, you can join me and make a cute little love disc. A cute little love disc. Festival of Eternities, much like yesterday, are going to be battle royales until the end of stream, or until the end of crocheting, so that I don't, if someone is following along, we don't interrupt the flow. But we will do marbles at the end of stream. You can bet on that. What your present for yourself is going to be this year? A new tattoo. Another tattoo? Ooh, also, I'm almost done with Celine Magic Girl for you. Figured I'd show you guys. I have to figure out how to do like a little crown on her, but this youth won this last June from our Trevor Project fundraiser. Also, if for some reason doing a CAL and crocheting is not your thing, go check out Youth. Today is Youth's birthday. Go say happy birthday to Youth. Also, I won. I win! I win! Yeah, go check out Youth. Say happy birthday. Youth will be streaming for quite a while today, I believe. I think it's a 6-hour stream. So if you can't get in there now, definitely make sure you show some support later in the day. She started at 12 p.m. Oh, her time or my time? I was thinking it was my time. Is it over? Did I miss it? Usually Youth streams at the same time as me, so I didn't think that... Oh my god, it's almost been 7 hours! Oh my god! Oh my god! So she probably won't be on for much longer. That's my bad. That's my bad. You know, time change. Time change. Never get anything right because of that time change. Hey, you can see everything. Cool. I gotta flip this around and zoom you in. Kashi! Also, the reason why this isn't already done is because I kind of had to scramble. I'm making pizza for me and Alex today. We're going to be making some heart-shaped pizza because it's Valentine's Day. And it took longer to put the dough together than I had anticipated. Kashi! Happy Valentine's Day. Pissy made you soup. I love it. I love it. So for this project, you're going to need 2 colors. Usually a darker color and a lighter color. I don't have Luvdisc's color exactly. Unfortunately, this is the lightest pink I have. So we're doing like a old school Luvdisc where all the colors were weird and dark. That's what we're doing. So you're going to need 2 colors, 1 lighter, 1 darker, and then whatever crochet hook you prefer with that yarn. If you don't know what crochet hook you prefer, go with whatever crochet hook is recommended for the yarn on the taggy tag that comes with it. Today I'm using a C, or 2.75 millimeter. That's what I'm doing. Beep, beep, beep. Other than that, you'll need polyfill, a needle, a tapestry needle, and some way to mark your stitches. Stitch markers, pins, safety pins, a piece of thread, a hair thing, what have you. We're going to start with the dark color. Okay. To start the pattern, we're going to start with a magic ring and do 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Magic rings can be kind of tricky. So I'll probably do it a couple times just in case anybody is having difficulties with it. So the way that I do my magic rings is I hold the thread between my thumb and index finger and I wrap around twice, making sure to make an X on top. X, X, X. And then I go under the first, over the second, twist, pull through. So now I have a little bit of a loop on here. And then you're going to take the strand that you're holding that's connected to your ball and yarn over, pull through. And that'll give you a little loop and then your starting loop on your hook. That's how I do it, at least. So once again, if we take it out, we do hold, wrap around twice, make an X, under, over, twist, up, yarn over, pull through. Da 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 da. To the loop. To the loop, to the loop. Now to do the single crochets, we have to do 6 single crochets in our magic circle. So we're going to grab our thread however we feel comfortable, the thread that's attached to your ball. And I usually like to stretch out the circle with one of my fingers and then hold it so that it's easier to work around. But we're going to go ahead and start working around our magic circle. So you're going to go under the magic circle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and that's your first single crochet. And you're going to do that 5 more times. So you're going to go under your magic circle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's 2. Under, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's 3. And now we need 3 more on our circle, like so. So now we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the magic circle. And now what you can do is you can take that strand that was on your magic circle from the end of your ball and you can pull the circle tight. Like so. And that will give you the start of your Ami. If magic circles are really tough for you, what you can do instead is make a starting loop on your crochet hook and make 2 single crochets, 2 chains, like that. And then instead of working in your magic circle like we just did, you would go into the first stitch that you did, and you would use that to single crochet 6 times in that stitch. Four, 5, 6, like so. You get basically the same result, but unfortunately you're not able to tighten down your circles, so you will have a little bit of a bigger gap here at the end. But you can always use a darning needle or a tapestry needle to take this end and weave it through to tighten it more if you want it tighter. I like to do magic circles because I like them pretty tight, because I do all of my crocheting very tight. So, magic circle, wrap around twice, under, over, twist, up, yarn over, pull through to make our starting circle. Nick, there's no room for you today. Under, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 5 more times. He will make room, won't you? He'll knock everything off the desk in the process, but he will make room. That's what I'm afraid of. So once you have your magic circle done, if we look at the pattern, the next row, R2, is 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we're going to go into that first stitch that we did. This stitch right here. And we're going to go under both strands. Both strands. Both. Which might take a little bit of finagling, shenanigans, worming your way through. But once you get in it, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that's your first single crochet, and you'll put your stitch marker there so you'll remember where your first stitch is. Since we're doing an increase or 2 single crochets in each stitch, we're going to go back under where we just were to add another stitch there. Oops, I slipped off. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that's 2 stitches. Now we're going to do that in every stitch all the way until we get back to our stitch marker here. So we're going to go under, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And again in the same stitch, and the next stitch. 2 in each. Once you get done with this row, you should have 12 stitches. And I'll show you how you can count those to keep on track. So there we go. 12 stitches. The way that you can count your stitches, my camera's in a different spot than it usually is, so, is each time you see one of these V's is a stitch. So this is a stitch, this is a stitch, this is a stitch, and you would count 12 all the way around until you got to here. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, including this one. So that's your second row. For the third row, you're going to do single crochet and then an increase. So you're going to do 1 in the first stitch and then 2 in the second stitch. And then you're going to repeat that all the way around. So let's do our first one. So that's 1. Put our stitch marker in. Increase. So we'll do 2 in this stitch. And that's the first. And now we just repeat it all the way around. 1 and then increase. Single, increase. Take your time as you go. This is a quick project, so it's okay if you need to take it out and start over. Once we're done with this piece, we'll actually be making another one. So if you missed the beginning of this one, we're going to be doing it again. So don't feel too bad if you missed it. Okay, that's our third row. You can also count your rows. If you go 1, 2, 3, like so. You'll also be able to figure out what row you're on. Stitch marker out. I made a mistake. What is your mistake? Hopefully you don't have to frog too much. For the next 2 rows, we're going to just do single crochets all the way around. So that's 1 single crochet in each stitch. So right now, after the third row or the third round, you should have 18 stitches if you count. When you do the 4th and 5th row, you should still have 18 stitches because you're just doing 1 in each as you go around. Uh-oh. Are they fighting over it? Too much? Or did they shred it to bits and now you have a huge mess to clean up? I don't know. Need to go grab my water bottle. Have been for days. Yeah, but it might have just forgotten that you're subbed. Sometimes the browser just needs a refresh to remember. Keshi, thank you for gifting a sub to Little. I'm confused, but either way, it doesn't make any sense. I was gonna say, I have a sub doodle already for Little this February, so I don't understand why it's doing what it's doing. If you do a magic circle, you will have to make sure that your string that you have on the inside is secure. So I usually just tie a couple knots close to it. And since this is going to be on the inside, no one's going to see it, so it doesn't matter how pretty it is. It just needs to make sure that it's secure, so your stitching doesn't get a little bit loose. It's not a big deal if you forget to do this. Your stitching will stay pretty tight with tension. But if you like it super tight, toe or middle part right here, then you will want to make sure that you do a little bit of a knot right there. Kashi! I didn't even notice that that was a 12-month sub. Kashi! Get back here! Kashi, running. Hey, Lunaku, how are you doing? Kashi, thank you for the gifted sub of 12 months. You're crazy. Nuts. Loco. She's getting back for the pin. Yeah, probably. Saw the opportunity, would not miss it. Sorry if the beeping was loud. That's the bread maker letting me know that, oops. It's letting me know that it's going into the proofing phase. An adventurer like me? But oh, I see. I see. So this is round 5. And then after round 5, we're actually going to be fastening off, because this is only one hump of the 2 that we need to make our heart. Lady Lumps, check them out. It is hump day. Yes. It is hump day. We're working on humps, and it is Valentine's Day. So to fasten off, you're going to do exactly what you do with a single crochet. So you're going to go in, yarn over, pull through, but instead of yarning over and pulling through again, you're just going to take that first one and pull all the way through, which is kind of making like a loose knot at the end. And then you're going to cut it off, pull the strand all the way through, and pull it to tighten. And there is the first hump of our Luvdisc. And so now we are going to make another one. I need to go get... Sorry. I need to go get some water. So while I go get some water, if you are following along with me, try to start your next hump on your own. And then when I get back, we will work on making another magic circle. Another. Oh, you guys can see my legs. Ah! 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 No legs for you. None. No legs. Too late, already seen them. Oh no. Oh no. Sorry. I usually keep my water bottle by my desk. But since Alex has realized that there's a straw in it, he's been stealing it at night. Methinks me have to get Alex his own water bottle. Okay. Second magic circle, second hump. Yeah, he did discover my Supiko. You're gonna hold, wrap around twice, make an X, go under the first, over the second, pull through, twist up, yarn over, pull through. And there is your magic circle. Ooh. Get to change all of your window clings. That's very fun. I used to love those. What's on your mouse pad? This is Final Fantasy. So this is a carbuncle. It's not an Eevee. This is a carbuncle. This is a Morble. There's also a Chocobo. There's a fat Chocobo in the middle of it. Or a chunky Chocobo. You can see the little cactuar right there. And then there's a Moogle. So yeah. Mardi Gras! When is Mardi Gras? It's right around the corner, isn't it? Or is that today? It was yesterday. Okay. I was gonna say, does it have a definitive day, or is it one of those holidays that, like Thanksgiving, that just falls on the third Thursday? Green Eevee and Aubrey too. Yeah, pretty much. It moves. Easter comes early. Oh, so it's dependent on Easter. Interesting. Today is Ash Wednesday. I knew today was Ash Wednesday. Sorry. My throat is just very dried. But I did not know when Mardi Gras was. Anyway, we're gonna do 6 single crochets in our magic ring. So we're gonna go under the magic ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's 1. Under the magic ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And when I mean under the magic ring, I mean under these 2 strings into the middle of it. So here. Not under the whole thing, just under the first 2. Oh, thanks, Sapphire. Celebrates the feast before Lent and fasting. Oh. Okay, okay. I did not know that Mardi Gras was dependent on Catholicism. Is, I guess, the best way to put it. I thought it was just a celebration that happened like beginning to middle of spring. That's good to know, though. So, to start our first, technically, second round, we're going to go into that first stitch again, under both strands, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. We're going to put our stitch marker in that first stitch. Now, if you're newer to crochet, when you're done with this piece, don't be hard on yourself if it is smaller and or bigger than your first one. Okay? Because you're learning, or just generally getting going today, your first one will always be probably looser than your second one. but that's okay. It's okay. Since we're increasing this round, this whole round will be increasing in each stitch. Increasing, we do 2 stitches in 1. So we're going to go back under that same one. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now we have 2 stitches. We're going to do 2 all the way around in every single stitch until we have 12 stitches. So we're doubling each. Double, double, toil, and trouble. You are becoming a sorcerer or sorceress of the yarn. And there. So that's your second row. Beep boop beep. Beep boop beep. Now, just like before, for our third round, we're going to do every other increase. So we're going to do single, increase. So we're going to do 1, 2. And then we're going to repeat that. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. So you're doing your first single, put in your stitch marker, and then an increase. Single, increase. Single, increase. At the end of this round, you should have 18. I've returned with ridiculous yarn. Hell yeah. In every euphemism for peen, at least in romance books, I was mistaken. What have we come across? What is the new word we have found for peen? Unless it's like uber gross, then, you know, you can keep that one to yourself. I'll never look at rock candy. Wow, rock candy, eh? Wow. Amazing. Rock candy? Oh my god. Is it better or worse than in 50 Shades of Grey? Her saying that his is like her own personal flavored, gray flavored velvet popsicle. Is it better or worse than that? Again, I'm just fastening my starting strand so that my circle doesn't get big while I'm working on it. I know 50 Shades is an abomination. That's just a really funny line from it that I can't believe someone actually wrote out. As you should. Which lollipop song? There is a many. On the 4th row and the 5th row, we're doing single crochets in each. Just one. So we have 18 stitches now. We should end the 4th row and the 5th row with 18 stitches. We're not increasing at all. We're just going straight in, straight out, and on to the next one. Making sure to put our stitch marker in, Because if you're like me, you become absent-minded and then you'll forget. The one that says lick like 40 times in a row. I was thinking of the old-timey, like, barbershop one. At least that's how I recall it. Your lips are sweeter than a cherry pie. Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop. Ba-dum, bum, bum. Is that the one we're talking about? Yep. Or is it a different lollipop song? You're welcome. That is both hard and delicious. Excuse me. That was worded and said with the intent of putting my mind in the gutter. Okay. Therefore, it is not my fault that my mind is in the gutter. My mind lives there, so... This is our 5th round. And then when we start our 6th is when we'll be joining with the other piece. So I'll show you how we join 2 pieces together. Let me pull it up. I think it's working for me. I can see everything. Reactions might not be working. Hell yeah, little. They having some issues. Weird. Does it need an update? Because if one of you has updated and the other hasn't, that might be why it's causing some issues. Never mind then. Them issues. Okay. So, now that we finished the 5th round on this puppy, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. So now we're going to connect our two pieces together. It is going to look like a butt for a little bit. Just a little bit. When you're working two pieces together, what you're basically going to do is, without fastening off and disconnecting this piece, you're going to literally start working into this piece while it's still connected. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our crochet hook into this first stitch right here where you fastened off your last stitch, and you're going to keep working through that. So what you're going to do is I usually hold the two pieces together, one with one finger and one with the other finger. If they're bigger pieces, I usually let one hang out while I do the other one. And so what you're going to do is you're going to hold them kind of close, and you're going to go in to that first stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And so now we've connected our two pieces, our two humps together. And that's where you're going to put your stitch marker now. That is your new first stitch, is right in the butt crack. And now for the rest of round 6, we're going to do 17 more single crochets, continuing around this first hump that we made. And so since this is attached now, I'm just going to let it hang out and let it just chill while I go around. Just moving threads out of my way if they are as I go. That first strand on your first hump that you fastened off and left, you're going to want to make sure that you leave that on the inside, because you are going to use it to sew up a little bit right here, to make sure there's not too big of a hole where these two pieces meet. So don't cut it off. Don't tuck it away. Leave it out just a little bit longer. And keep working around, single crocheting. Okay, let me count really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Ba 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 booey. Ba ba booey. Okay, so we just worked all the way around that piece. Now we're going to do what we just did again. We're going to hop from one to the next. Yep. So you're just going to go ahead and in the next stitch after the one that you just worked into on this last one, you're going to go in here, single crochet to combine again. Now, as you can see, when you do this kind of technique to join, you will probably always have these two pieces where there are a small little hole right here. Like I said, you're going to use that leftover strand from before to sew it up on the inside so that that's not there anymore. So if you're worried about that hole being there, just finish this round and then we'll sew it. Hulbert! Thank you for the 10 months. What would you like your subdoodle to be? Hello, Nick. Single crochet all the way back to that beginning stitch. All the way around. Thank you for the head pads. Are we taking a cat break? Cat break? He's so sleepy. Look how asleep he is. Oh, he's so sleepy. Look how asleep he is. He's not asleep at all. You do too get a subdoodle each month. You do too. You can have it, you can still have the notification go off. So you still get a subdoodle. Even if the notification didn't go off, you would still get a subdoodle. It was Keshi, so she gets them. I'm sure Keshi would want you to have a subdoodle. Silly. Would you like a treat? Me? Is that all you wanted? You shall be Nick in a cowboy hat. Done. Look at this. Slobbery boy. That's true. Last month was Nick as a monster. Me, 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 me. Okay. There we go. After that round, the 6th round, you should have 36 stitches because you had 18 from one hump and 18 from the other hump. Now really quickly, I'm just going to use my stitch marker to keep my loop that I'm working with good, and so that it doesn't pull out while I'm doing this. But really quickly, I'm going to use this leftover strand here to sew it up. The pattern has you sew this up a lot later, but I find it easier to do it now so that you don't have to reach your fingers into a small hole to do so. So I'm going to do it now. You can do it later when the pattern says to. But I'm gonna do it now. So I'm just gonna take my needle. And it's pretty easy to figure out where the hole is going to be because the hole is being caused by this strand that you left to sew. So what you're going to do is you're basically going to take this and sew it through the other side to close up that hole. And a good way to check is if you turn it on the outside and you pull it apart a little bit, that hole should be not there anymore. And then I usually go through one more time and I tie a simple knot just to make sure that it stays secure while I'm working on it. Since we'll be moving it around quite a bit. Hey-ya. Hi-ya. And then we'll do one more knot. Double knot for security. And then we'll tuck these strands away. You don't have to cut off any of these strands. Since you're going to be stuffing the inside, you can really just tuck these away. And then you don't have really any scraps that you have to deal with from sewing. And so there we are. Those are our 2 joined humps with no hole, ready for round 7. Gift wrapping for my Valentines. Let's see if I can catch up on making a Valentine for yourself. Hehehehe. So now we're going to start row 7. Row 7, we're going to do 4 single crochet. So just keeping our round is no longer just one of these. Our round is around the whole thing. That's why we joined them together, so that now as we go, it'll just turn into the whole piece. So we're going to do 4 single crochet, and then it does single crochet 2 tog, 2 together, also known as a decrease. If you see DEC, that's a decrease. If you see SC2 TOG, single crochet 2 together. They're the same thing, it's just different ways of saying it. Whichever people learned how to read or write with their patterns is how they do it. So we're going to start with our single crochets. Make sure you put in your stitch marker in your first stitch. Nope. That'll be 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to do what Aki actually showed me how to do as a decrease. There's a couple different ways you can do decreases, but I found this one to be the easiest for me to do, and it kind of looks the nicest in my opinion. So what we're going to do is, as I talked about, when you do single crochets and increases, you go under both loops as you go. Both loops. But for this decrease, we're actually going to go under just this front loop. So we're going to go under this front loop. So you can see I've only picked up 1. And then we're actually going to twist around and we're going to pick up the next front loop. So we have 2. If the camera can focus on anything besides the black desk. No? Cool. Thanks. There we go. We're under 2 right now. And then we're going to yarn over, pull through those 2. Yarn over, pull through. And that is our decrease. So we've done 4 single crochet, and then single crochet 2 together or decrease. And now we have to repeat that all the way around. So now we're going to go into the next stitch. Single crochet. Do that 4 times. And then we're going to pick up those 2 loops again. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through for our second decrease. And keep going. 4 single crochet, decrease, 4 single crochet, decrease, 4 single crochet, decrease until you're all the way back to your stitch marker. And as you start going, you will notice that your 2 lumps are going to become more and more one thing, which is really cool as you keep going. It's really neat, this kind of technique of joining when you're working on an amigurumi with legs, because there are some amigurumi where you make 4 legs and then you start to crochet them together in this way to make the body. And it's really, really cool once you learn how to do this, to be able to do those patterns, because then you don't have to sew on legs, which is my least favorite thing to do. The legs are just incorporated. You know, no sewing, and they'll be exactly where you like them to be. So that's why I like these kinds of techniques of joining. They are very, very nice. At least I think they are. I made a grave mistake with my yarn selection. What was the mistake? It's so fluffy. No! Not the fluffy yarn. It's okay. Very, so very, very fluffy. I can't wait to see your fluffy Luvdisc. I love it. The fluffiest Luvdisc you've ever seen. 1,000,000 stitch markers. Oh, unless you're not making a Luvdisc. If you're not making Luvdisc, then, you know, that's different. Nothing but black yarn for the rest of my life. That bad, eh? Still trying to get past the magic. Oh, no. Yeah, you're going to have to put a stitch marker in every single stitch so that you can find them, if it's that floofy. If it's that floofy. Okay, on to round 8. Round 8 is a single crochet all the way around, just like we were doing before with the humps. We're just going to single crochet all the way around. Lunaku. Why are we barking? Thank you for the head pats. I don't know why Mix It Up isn't working today. I guess it's decided to take a vacation. That's fine. We can take a vacation. It was working at the beginning of stream. Oh, it's on a date with its Valentine. Who would Mix It Up's Valentine be? Nightbot? Forbidden Love? Damn. That's tough right there. Total enemies to lovers? Yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear. Enemies to butt stuff? Not for me, but I understand. Not for me, but I understand. Are you reading the same novel I am? If you are, you could at least dish. Okay, that's row 8. And as you can see, once I take out my stitch marker, our 2 lumps have become a single piece. And I think that's the coolest part of crochet for me. And so we are going to keep working our way around rock candy, enemies, and demon butt stuff. Hey. The Omegaverse last night? Damn. I haven't read Omegaverse in a very long time. I don't even know what that means. Do you want to find out? Can be sweet, and also, yeah. Alpha, beta, omega, yeah. Yeah. Posted a pic of the fluffy yarn. Let me see. Let me see this. Oh, it's gonna be so wonderful! Oh, it's gonna be so floofy and magical! I'm so excited. It's gonna be a pain in the neck. But it's gonna be so floofy and magical when it's done. So floofy. So magical. It's gonna be tough, but I'm excited for you. Okay. We just did round 8. We're gonna do round 9. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. And then I'm gonna take a quick break because I need to put I need to get pizzas ready and put them in the oven. So we're going to do round 9 and then we're going to take a break. Round 9 starts with a decrease. So we're going to pick up 2 stitches, 2 front loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, put a stitch marker in, and then we have 13 single crochets. 13. Six. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. After 13 stitches, we're going to do another decrease. So, in 2 front loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then we have single crochets all the way back to the beginning. Alpha beta male thing really irks me, makes me cringe, so I doubt I'd even be able to read it if I tried. Yeah. Real life is overrated. It can be an interesting concept, even though alphas and betas don't really exist in nature, as we found out. I do think that the alpha, beta, omega, or omegaverse is an interesting kind of take on that kind of thing, though. And some of it is, yeah, it's not what you would think it would be. Some of it. Some of it is what you think it would be. For sure. Okay. That's round 9. So at this point, we have basically what looks like a pair of legs. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. But that is going to be the back half of our Luvdisc. So that is round 9. If you would like to keep going and do rounds 10 and 11 and 12 on your own, feel free to. Color change happens round 13. And that, when I do the color change, is usually when I also put in the eyes. So, yeah. I don't like smut. Makes me blush. She's barely read through a sex scene. Dang. Dang. That's fair. I get that. Okay, I will be right back. It's gonna probably take me a little bit because I have to roll out the dough and then make the pizzas. So we're looking at like at least a 10-minute break. Thank you. So get up, get a drink, use the restroom, stretch your legs, stretch your hands. It's very important when you're crafting to make sure you stretch your hands so that you can prevent yourself from getting arthritis. And drink water. I'm looking at you. I know you haven't drank water today. I know. Nice try. Go drink some water. I'll be back in 10. Okay? Back in 10. Hello. I'm back. Sorry if that took me longer than 10 minutes. Had to throw a quick pizza together. Thank you, thank you. I'll just have to get up every now and then to take stuff out of the oven. Okay. We just did round 9, and we're going to do round 10, which is single crocheting 2 together, and then 5 single crochet after. Repeat. So we're going to do front loops, 2, and yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and stitch marker. Also, hi Aria. Hopefully you're having a good day. Hopefully I didn't miss you. And you had to run off to work. 2 single crochets, 3, 4, and 5. Ta-dum! And then we're going to repeat. So, decrease 5 single crochets, decrease 5 single crochets, until you're all the way back to your stitch marker. Two, 3, 4. Some of you have probably caught up to me if you started a bit late, since I took quite a break. I should probably keep a headphone off for the oven timer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 5. And we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we go. Smaller it gets, the trickier it gets for me, but that is okay. Okay, that was round 10 or row 10. Now we do row 11, which is 2 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then a decrease, and then 4, and then we'll repeat. So start with a single, put in our stitch marker, another single for our 2, and then a decrease, and then 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we repeat. So now we'll do a decrease, and then 4 single crochet. And then a decrease, and 4 single crochet. And it should be getting a little bit faster now because you're doing less stitches every time. So don't be surprised if you make it all the way back to the beginning faster than you have been. You didn't do anything wrong. There's just less stitches, so it's going a little bit faster. Three and 4, and then 2 single crochet to finish the round, and that is round 11. So where you have your stitch marker right now, actually, is where you're going to be putting the eye for your Luvdisc. I usually try to line it up with the crack right here. And then I've been putting it between rows 10 and 11, which we just did. Of course, if you'd like to put your eye back a little bit further, you can do so. And if you would like to put a stitch marker and leave one here so you can remember where to put the eye, you can do that as well. And we are going to put one on the other side. So if you want to line them up, you can do that now as well. I'm not going to be putting it in until after the next row because I usually like to have another row as a buffer so that I don't have to work in behind the eye, which is almost impossible to do. So let me go grab stuff from the oven. I'll be back to do round 12. Round 12. We're back. Buddy. Okay, round 12, which will be starting with a decrease. So through the front loops of 2, yarn over, pull through, and stitch marker. And then that's 3 single crochets, like so. Are we done yet? We're almost done. We only have really 4 more rows after this. Single or decrease. And then pull 3 single crochet. I'm getting the last round and this round mixed up. No. Not when I'm trying to make sure that I'm not going so fast that people can't see what I'm doing. I'm probably going too fast as it is. Lumi will be done. No. I also had to take a break and put some pizzas together real quick for mine and Alex's lunch. So I had to take like a 15-20 minute break. Okay. Right before we do our color change, which we do in round 13 for the Luvdisc, I'm gonna really quick have that hold on to that for me. And I am going to begin stuffing since it's getting closer and closer to being closed right here. We're going to want to start stuffing while we can still fit at least a finger in it. No pun intended. So we're going to start stuffing it a bit. Just really enough to fill the humps for now. And then we're also going to put in the eyes. I know it's Valentine's Day, but y'all have to act right. So there we go. Stuffed. And now we can put in the safety eyes. You can use whatever you'd like or whatever you have on hand as safety eyes. I've been using these kind of oval. We're acting normal. Damn. You're right. You're right. I've been using these oval because they're actually pretty close to the eye shape of of an actual Luvdisc, but you can also use circular. Just depends on what you have already. It's a good project for scraps or extras. Let me grab some backs. When have I ever acted right? When I first came out of Lurk, like 4 years ago, when Automod had you fearing for your life, you acted right then. Keshi. Wow. I got caught on something. Anyway, I'm putting in the eyes. Eyes. I might actually move this back one because this yarn is a little thinner than what I've been using, I think. No, if I put it further back, I think it'll be a little wonky. Ooh. Secret chocolate. And you're going to put one on each side. You can put it on just one side. That is a choice you can make. I like to believe that Luvdisc have eyes on both sides of their faces. That is a choice that I like to make. And then I just like to make sure that they're even on each side. This one's upside down. You could also do the next row when we do the color change and then put in the eyes. But I like to have more room to put on the backs and make sure they're nice and secure. And I can't really fit my fingers in very well if I do another round. No, that's why I do it now, because it does get much smaller with the next round. But you do what you do what you do. You do you, boo. Akumo. Okay. Now that we've stuffed it a bit and we have our safety eyes in, we can do our color change. So for our color change, I'm actually going to go ahead and cut off this strand to my project and bring in my lighter color. Which is twisted up somehow. Before we do the color change, I might have to go grab a pizza from the oven. So let me go do that real quick. And then we'll color change to the lighter color. Michaela, hello. How are you doing? How is you? Okay, let's do this color change really quickly. So to start this round, we're doing a decrease. We're going to do our decrease like normal and go under 2. But instead of grabbing our dark pink, we're going to start working in our light pink instead. So we're going to hold it like we would our dark and pull it through like we would. Now to secure these ends, I usually just start working it in with the rest of it. If you'd like to tie a small knot between the ends and stuff them inside, that works as well. but I just find this to be a little easier. And then we do 2 single crochets. I have to finish row 3. It's okay. You chose a pretty difficult yarn to work with for this. Okay, now I'm just gonna tuck these strands away since I've secured them a little bit. They're not needed out here anymore. And then we're just gonna keep going. So we have a decrease. That's good. Finding your stitches can be pretty tricky with that yarn, but marking them with stitch markers makes it a whole lot easier. That's also true. It is very forgiving. You're not wrong. So single crochet 2, decrease, single crochet 2, decrease, all the way around for round 13. Ba-ba-da-bum. So that is our first row with the color change. So you can see now that its lips are coming in. I'm sure. And if not, RIP. So this is when the pattern usually has you sew closed this this hole back here. As you can see, this is how you would have to work from this side and then tuck it in this way. I just find it easier to do it earlier. So if you're following the pattern, now would be when you would sew up that hole. But we're just going to keep going with round 14, which is a single crochet in the next stitches. Oh, yeah, next 2 stitches. And then a decrease. And then 2. Gonna have to weasel your way around. And then decrease. And then 2 single. And then decrease. Bada boom, bada bing. Really quick, I'm going to take my safety pin, but it could be a safety pin, my stitch marker, put it in my loop and pull it a bit tight. So when I was stuffing before, I really only stuffed up to this point where I put up the eyes. And so if you want to make sure that this part isn't too flat, you may want to put a little bit more stuffing in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But first, I have to go take something out of the oven. Oven. Okay, Melissa, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out while you can. Sorry, Twitch is being Twitch. So I'm gonna do just a little bit more stuffing. And I have this little, this is a stitch layer, for when you want to get fancy with cross stitching. But I've been using it as kind of a stuffing tool. You can use a pencil. You can use a pen. You could use a chopstick. You could use a bamboo stick. Whatever is thin that you can poke stuff in. Yeah, stuffing tool, whatever you would like to call it, whatever you have on hand. I just take a little bit more to make sure that the mouth isn't as flat. And stuff a little bit more in. Much faster on 14 count. That's what it feels like. I think because it's bigger, so you're covering more space, if that makes sense. So, you know, like with an 18 count, it takes 18 stitches to cover an inch. With 14 count, it takes 14 stitches to cover an inch. So you're doing less for the same amount of coverage. And so it does feel faster, if that makes sense. Because it is at covering space. We're starting this round with a single crochet and then decrease, single, all the way around. And we are, after this round, we have one more until we sew it shut, and then it's done. Like I said, this is a really good quick project if you forgot to get something for someone, aka like a coworker or a relative that all of a sudden sent you something or gave you something, and you just weren't thinking that they would do that, because that happens. You can make this really quick in like an hour and a half, 2 hours to give to them as a quick little Valentine thank you. Okay. We're going to take out the stitch marker, and then this is the 16th row. You're going to single crochet, not single crochet. You're going to decrease every single time around. I'm only going to do 2 because the 3 that it has you do is crazy to me. This space is so small, and you're gonna sew up the rest of it anyway. Really only 2 is what I find is necessary. Notice I didn't put in my stitch marker because I am not going to use it anymore. And then you're going to find somewhere in this itty bitty mouth to put your crochet hook through to fasten off. Which is the same as before. Instead of single crocheting, you're going to poke through, yarn over, pull through, and then keep pulling through all the way. And now we're going to cut this off. Yeah. And that is the mouth of your Luvdisc. Beep.
Bravo! Brava! Grandissimo.
Your pizza's on the counter.
That's...
Alex is being silly. Then you're just going to take what you have left, and I usually just put it right back in to the spout. And then, what is Alex yammering on about? Me finishing my project. I usually put it back through, and I pull it up through just past the eye, kind of lined up with the bottom of the eye. and a couple back. What happened here? And this is where you're gonna make the little cheeks. So I usually take it from here and go 2 down along the same line to make, and I do it twice just to make it a little bit thicker. And then I take it over to the other side. To make its little cheeky cheeks. And go 2 down. And again, and I'm actually going to take this out towards the mouth and see if I can fix this little weird thing that I got going on. First Lumi currency. And then to secure the end, I usually start to kind of like take it back and forth within it, kind of using the stuffing as tension to keep it in place. What you can also do to secure your end is actually make a French knot. And so what I've done here is I've pulled it out. To do a French knot, you take your needle and you wrap your thread around it twice, and then you push it in where you came up through, and then just pull it out somewhere. And then if you hold this as you keep pulling through, it'll actually make a knot right here, and you just keep pulling and pulling until that knot pops in. And then you've actually knotted your thread and it won't come loose. So you just pull it out somewhere, pull it a bit tight, snip it off, and there's your love disc. Da-da-dum. Da-da-da-da-dum. So you can do these in pink or in yellow. Those are the colors that they are in the game. Pink is regular, yellow is shiny. But I did make myself a blue one, and it looks really cute. I just don't know where it is. Is it still in the bedroom? I feel like I'm asking you. I already asked you to be my Valentine. I asked you to be my Valentine this morning. What's you talking about? And I also made Alex a yellow one for Valentine's Day. See? Here's a blue one. So, you can make one for yourself and one for your loved one in maybe their favorite color. Or you can go with the traditional pink and yellow. Pink and yellow, pink and yellow. Was that bad? Alex shook his head.
Just a little.
But he exhaled.
That's what dates us.
It does date us quite a bit. Yeah, you could put magnets on the tips of their snoots so that they kissy, fishy kissy. You could also put magnets in the butts so that they stick together like this, which would also be very cute. Did he exhale through his nose? He did. He did indeed exhale through his nose. Da-da-da-da. There they are. This is adorable. And it's pretty easy to do. If you missed it, I'll try and get this VOD up. Maybe by tomorrow, depends on how long the export is. so that you can check it out and work along with it. Probably easier to work along with the YouTube video because you can pause. But there you go. Meat, 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 meat. Yes. We are gonna go ahead and switch over to marbles. Are you and Alex doing anything for Valentine's Day? No. Valentine's Day unfortunately landed on one of Alex's busiest days of the week. In that he has to teach in the morning and then he has to teach later at night. So we're making pizza for today, and when he gets home later tonight, we're gonna just probably chill on the couch. Is the blue one yours and the pink one Alex? I actually made Alex a yellow one last night and gave it to him for Valentine's Day already. I don't have the yellow one with me because he took it to work with him, so. But if you'd like to see what they look like together, I did post an image on Instagram for the CAL. So you can see the yellow one there. It would be very cute. Don't they know that we love Robot Alex? I know. But it's just the way that it was dished out. I feel really bad for his students. Because his lecture students had a test today. That's just the day that it landed on. So, he actually had to give a test this morning. But yeah, while I eat some pizza, we're gonna play some marbles.
He did well in the test, by the way.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Good.
Like a 69.
Can I get a drink and my ranch? Doesn't matter. Whichever. Too bad Alex isn't real. Lumi tattoo. Yes. Yes. Lumi's ventriloquist skills have improved. Thank you. I work on them daily.
He did nothing to you.
He did do something to her. He exists. Therefore, he did something. You have something that looks like the bottom of a heart. There you go. Why did I think it was on your leg instead of your arm? It's been on my arm since December. That's where it be. It don't be anywhere else. Though I have been itching to get another one. I don't know if it's an addiction or not, but it'll be okay. We'll get through it together. You tell him. It's so fluffy I could die. It's gonna be adorable. But yeah, we're gonna play some marbles. Marbles. And I'm actually gonna switch our scenes because we'll probably do marbles for the rest of the stream. So that some of y'all that want to get some drops, y'all can get some drops if they're available. The itch never goes away, let me tell you. Mine actually doesn't itch at all. It feels weird when I touch it because it feels like a scar. But it's not. Oh, the itch for more. I see. I thought you were talking about the itch of the tattoo. It was hella itchy for like the first 2 weeks, but then it was gone. I don't know how many more I want. I just know that having one on my arm, it feels lonely. This tattoo is lonely, so I have to get it a friend. That's how that works, right? It's lonely and needs a friend. Little, I don't think you ever lose the itch. I think it's a constant itch. Lunaku, you'll get a tattoo with me. I'm a little scared of what tattoo you would want to get with me, Lunaku. I'm a little scared. But I'm so picky. Yeah, everybody has to get a little diamond on them. Not like a diamond, like Celine's diamond. The 4-pointed star diamond. Everybody's got to get one of those. Let me think, it goes away sometimes. We all know better. Exclamation point play to join. I know, I'm very excited yet very scared. I still don't know how I feel about people getting my artist tattoos. But, you know, we'll get through it. We'll get through it together. I'm gonna eat my pizza. Is that okay? Is that okay? You have to promise not to get jealous of my pizza. You're not gonna get jealous, are you? You can always change your mind and say no. Why would I do that? That's not gonna happen. You would rather have Chick-fil-A over homemade pizza? Carly. You have 30 seconds to start. It's fine, little. You're good. I'm not unsure of it. It's not me being like, you shouldn't do that. It's more me being like, it's like the ultimate compliment. And I don't know how to handle accepting it, if that makes sense. What in the world is going on? Yeah. It's not like me being like, oh my god, you shouldn't get my art on your body. That's forever kind of shit. It's more me being like, oh my god, my art is on your body. Thank you so much. I don't know what to do with myself. Do I pay for it? Do I give you money? I don't know how to, I don't know.